Greetings and blessings to my Afro-West Indian brothers and sisters. Greetings and blessings to the diaspora. I wish you nothing but prosperity and peace of mind. Today we're going to talk about the difference between a Afro and an Afro. I get it. I'm sure you're thinking, man, I know where you're going to go with this. You know, they had one time I remember I was learning how to play the guitar. I was about 17 years old, learning to play the guitar, and I had already had some understanding about the scale because I had a brethren named Nature Boy who had already taught me how to play the pentatonic scale and also the full scale across the guitar fretboard. You know, I could play the Ionian, the Dorian, the Phrygian, the Lydian, the Mixolydian, Aeolian, Ionian, those kind of language. So I had some type of general concept of how the keys work, the majors, the minor, the dominant, so forth. And I remember meeting with this jazz guitarist. You know, I was fascinated by the way he played. He was very smooth, you know, and I got with him and he started playing the A minor scale, a scale that I was very much familiar with. And while he was playing it, I wanted to learn some jazz scales, you know, some licks and stuff like that, for those of you who kind of understand that language. And so I told him, I said, I know the minor scales, I know the scales. And he stopped playing the guitar, and he said, if you're going to go to a well, when you go to a well, you never go to a well with a full bucket of water, you know. And I paused and thought about it for a second, and then I knew what he was saying. I needed to empty the bucket before you go to the well to gather water. And I started applying that concept to everything. You know, there would be things, a subject people would be talking about, and I would still patiently listen, because sometimes you can sit through a session, an hour session of something you already knew, and you will learn even one thing. There may be one thing you take away that can change your entire life, your entire perspective on life. And that type of mindset helped me to get so much better when it comes to understanding music and life in general. You know, I went back, I started playing the different scales, and I would always get something that I didn't get from before. It's like watching a movie over and over again. You watch a movie a few times and you're going to gather something that you didn't get before. Anyway, with that said, let's get right into this Afro and Afro, right? So if I was a criminal and I did a crime against a certain person or people, right? The smart thing to do, if I do not want to be captured, is to muddy the waters, messy the crime scene, contaminate everything, disrupt everything that exists, right? If I have to blend in with the people I commit the crime with, that would be even better. If I take 2 glasses of water and mix them together, it's going to be hard for people to know which is which, right? So with that said, I feel that's what's been happening. It's easier to do with water than it is to do with people who have different culture, and especially people who look totally different, right? It's easier for one group of people who look the same and are the same people to do a crime against each other and to resolve that and to move on. But it's not as easy when you do so with someone who's totally different, especially someone who's rich in culture and rich in numbers and who are strong-willed, strong-minded, just as you are. So a strategy to counter that would be to win the mind of these people, right? To not be the person squeezing the trigger, to let someone else that look like them squeeze the trigger, to set brothers against brothers, mothers against daughters, and create divisions within that family. The last thing I would want is for them to be united. If I have to push religion, politics, education, class warfare, economic warfare within that family, I would be winning, you know. And if I can take some of the people within the family, if I create a system where I can get the smartest people out of that group, the leaders, to work for me, then I can have them control these people. Those people who are pulled and who are the middlemen, the mediators between the Afros and the other folks, can be coined as the Euphros. And you have to watch out for these guys. The Euphros simply want to be happy. They are fine with that. Euphros see other people that look like them and Afros as competition. As long as they are ahead of their people, they are fine. And they see Afros as a threat, as someone who would disrupt their peace and their relationship with their masters. So, in other words, their own people have become their enemy, just as the masters, their leaders, are enemy of their own people. Now, we have to really be careful when dealing with these folks, because it is not easy, as I said, because these people can be your mother, they can be your father, they can be your brother, right? They can be your sister, people close to you, and you don't want to cut these people off. But we have to understand that if there is an issue, just like our body, just like if you have a car, if you take your car to the mechanic, if you go to the doctor, you have to identify that issue and you have to address that issue. So I feel the reason the black community have been sitting stagnant for so many years is because we have not identified fully the Euphros and the Afros, right? Most Euphros are in that Christian group. And not to pick and Christians or anything, but many of them are. Okay, a Euphro can be someone who wastes your time. Euphros are people who rob the community. Like I said, they are in different social groups. They can be rich, they can be poor, they can be educated, they can be non-educated. Many Euphros praises other Euphros the higher you are in the master society, or the closer you are to master. They see that as a form of success and accomplishment. For some reason, any conversation about creating your own makes them feel funny inside. You know, they get offended about that. And that is how Euphros roll. So, in order for the Afro community to elevate and to protect itself, it's going to have to find a way to separate itself from the Euphros. The Euphros are divestors. They want to be able to have the best of both worlds. At one time they want to be on this side, another time they want to be over here on that side. They want to enjoy everything. They want to dilly-dally in everything. And they don't understand the dangers that they cause because they open doors and windows to good people and allow other folks in. Some folks who have a history of violence. I understand that. Everyone don't. But the thing is, we still have to respect history, and everybody else does. So until we get ourselves situated and have a system in place, just like everyone else, where we can protect us, then we have to really be careful of these Euphros. They go to school with us. They party with us. They celebrate Carnival with us. They are politicians. and all this type of stuff. And I feel the only way, or the best way for Afros to establish something solid is to step away. You know, like for example, little platforms like this, where the folks who these information, such information is not going to bother them in any way, right? Of course, we will not agree on everything. We will have little differences. Some can be bigger than the others. But at the end of the day, if your mind is set on establishing our nation, to reinvent ourselves, to have our own and control our own, then chances are you are an Afro. If this information that I am providing bothers you, then chances are you are on UFRO. Still love you, it's fine, but you may have to stay over on that side. Okay? You may have to stay on that side because we have enough of a complex situation as it is right now for these guys to add more to it while we're trying to figure things out. Can you imagine that? You're trying to figure something out and folks try to add more complexity to it. Another thing, UFOs do not think of themselves. Everything that they mention, everything that they talk about is something that they picked up from the dominant society or their masters. UFOs are very dangerous because they have a false sense of community. They talk about they love their people, they love black people, but they don't. They really don't. Or there's something else they love more than that. They claim that they respect their ancestors. However, they join a fight that is everything against what the ancestors stand for. UFOs do not want to be separated. UFOs want to continue to live under the umbrella of another man. Right? And that's what it is. And the thing about it is this. UFOs are all over the place. They are on the side that they feel is winning. So once the Afros start getting things together real good, you will see the UFOs sliding over. Some of them like to be on the edge, right? So they can slide over. It's like someone who's in a relationship, but they're not going too hard in it. They want to be on the edge so they can slide out pretty easy type of deal, right? That's kind of how UFOs roll. You got to be careful with them. The most dangerous UFOs, though, are the ones who know what they're doing, but they just don't care. They know they don't care about the Afro liberation. They just don't care, but they pretend they do. They will indulge in conversations and make as if they do care and want to have a reasonable conversation. But there's nothing you can say or do that could have them convert their thought process. Okay? And the thing about it with these folks, a lot of times they are so deeply invested that they have to them they have no choice. So what they're doing is try to recruit more, because you heard the saying, misery love company. Misery love company. So once they are locked in, whether by contract or investment or partnership, they are so deep in, right? They try to recruit more people so that they can be surrounded with people who look like them, who think like them, people who have totally given up, people who have totally waved the white flag and basically opened themselves up all the way to be taken. And that is a youth for you. An Afro, on the other hand, right, embraces their culture fully. They embrace their culture fully. They're about creating a nation for Afro ideas. They want to teach the youths to have pride in themselves, to love themselves. They believe in Afro love, and they want the children to see Afro love. They're not trying to push this confusion. Right? Afros need to continue to work on a universal network and encourage respect amongst each other. Fathers, relationships, girlfriend, husband, whatever, children, and continue unity. Afros truly respect and honor their ancestors just as any other people honor their ancestors. And Afros are realistic. We know that our situation is not like others, and we know that after so many years, something fishy must be going on. But at the same time, we have to believe that we can do it as long as we galvanize with other like-minded folks. The problem for so long is that UFROs always infiltrate the movements. Always infiltrate the movement. So I don't know if we have to set up some type of criteria, checks and balance to purge and to sift through these folks. Whatever it is, we're going to have to do it. Just like the dominant society have different security levels and stuff like that. UFROs cannot sit through a long session about their history, about their ancestors, or about development and building our own. At some point, you're going to start seeing steam come off of their head. They're going to start moving around and fidgeting. They have to go to the bathroom and all type of stuff because that kind of conversation burn their spirits. They can't take that. So we have to create something that only people who truly love who they are and love the ancestors and really want to see us doing better will be inspired and motivated enough to sit through these type of sessions. And that's what it needs to come down to. Let's make something clear. Afros are all about education, just as UFROs are about education. There are different levels of Afros, just like there are different levels in social status of UFROs. Okay, we have people who are into agriculture, folks who are into history, folks who are into engineering and different things. I do believe that as Afros, we shouldn't run away from none of that. We should, just like any other nation, we get our children into every sector: medical, science, agriculture, engineering. We need to push these kids to that, and we need to be example as well, right? If that's in the different fields, like I said, some folks, we can get some of our children to deal with the trade. We have to get every angle. But these kids have to understand that they're going there to get the knowledge and to bring it back to the community, not to take that knowledge and to go and stabilize another community. Sure, you can give to that community, but your loyalty is to your people, to your community, to your West Indians, to your Afro people, just like anyone else do. So let's not lie to ourselves and pretend that other people are not doing it. They are doing it. You know, it's only you froze believe in this. Oh, it's all equal, it's all love, it's all this and it's all that. No. Everyone else is fine. Here's the thing. Sure, you do see a lot of unity and love everywhere. Here is where you don't see it when it's time to have conversation about economics and resources. How often do you see that on your media, on your television? When it's time to talk about this cooperation, when it's time to talk about oil and these different industry, these are the areas you don't see no equality being pushed. In the top 100 richest people in the world, you're probably not going to see any Afros in there. Maybe might see one or two, and they'll be way back. And that's because it's not because they're independent. They are most likely working with, they have some massa. But these other folks, they are their own boss. Right? So, and family as well. when you look at the richest family, the same families that's been in place for a very long time. And we need to not get it twisted by saying, oh, well, everyone is not rich. No, they are pawns. Some people are pawns, and the pawns do not need to know what the kings are talking about. However, the pawns are on the side of their kings and their queens. They are all weapons. Got it? And it would be great if some folks wasn't thinking about just dominating other folks. But in reality, that's not the case. There are people who only respect power, they only respect unity, they only respect strength. And if it comes down to getting rid of you, to make more money, they will get rid of you in a heartbeat. So don't get it twisted. Don't ever get too comfortable. But anyway, once again, peace, love, and respect to my Afro-West Indian brothers and sisters and to the diaspora. Deuces.